Do you know what it is? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, or maybe you would like to know. Surviving and thriving, ups and downs, challenges and victories, on the path of forever. Let's take a ride on this journey where amazing couples share their story of love and soul.
Started out just doing random stuff, like randomly going to Walmart. This is when Walmart was in River Falls Mall, which River Falls Mall don't even exist no more. So this is how old this is. So we would just pull up at Walmart randomly at like 1 a.m. just to look for whatever. But you had that big Cadillac. And the way she was pushing this Cadillac, I was like, man, she can whip a vehicle. I'm kind of like digging that. It's weird for that to attract me, but it did. Like, I mean, she was like Pinky wheeling the caddy. I was like, she's cool over here for real. So, but like she said, going to the movies, hanging out, got to know more of her personality. And her personality was very attractive. It was bubbly. And she had a little bit of what I was used to, at least from my family's perspective. So like that countryness, like my granny and all them was country. So she could cook real good. So of course, female that can cook, because I can't cook. So I was like, man, so she knows the way to that heart too, to the stomach. So I was trapped by that, in a good way. In a good way. So she got me. She got me with that cooking, personality, and just overall just fun to kick it with, really.
River Falls Mall. I don't know if you go back that far, but I actually saw her my first time on the train. That little train that went around. I actually was in the movie theater, and she was out in the I guess the amusement park area, and I spotted her on the train. And I told one of my friends at the movie theater, I was like, hey, that's the girl right there. And he was like, what girl? I said, the girl on the train. The girl on the train is the one I want to holler at. So it took me probably 2 months before I got the courage to actually talk to her. But I actually went up to her and I start introducing myself, and she kind of looked at me like, what do you want? So I was like, yeah, let me get your number and this and that.
You didn't say, let me get your number.
What did I say?
Hi, how are you?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I was like, I'm fine. I'm looking at him like, okay, here comes another person trying to talk to me. So I could tell he was nervous. And he's like, hi, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. What's your name? Missy. I said, what's your name? And he said, Rod and stuff. And then he said, can I get your number? So now you can continue.
Right. So I got the number, but I didn't call right away.
No, he did not. He didn't call right away.
All right.
Took a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I finally called and we talked and we actually went on a date. That's how we actually met.
So we actually interacted with each other 3 different times before he asked me for my number. So the first time was at a shoe store. I was picking up a friend of mine. He was with one of his friends. I knew his friend but didn't know him. And so he was picking out some shoes. And I always joke and tell people that the shoes he was picking, they were ugly. And so I was like, don't get them shoes. Those shoes are horrible. So that was the first interaction. And then the second one was at a college party. Well, no, it was a party that they had for Labor Day, I think it was.
It was in
It was at the.
It was in
convention center.
Louisville. Yeah, it was in Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was cute, and I was standing on a chair, and the chair was a fold-up chair, and I went through it, and he was right there and kind of chuckled but helped me up. And then the last time was at UK. I was a student at UK, and he came up for a college party. And then at that time, he was like, okay, I done seen you 3 times in the last week. I need to know who you are. And so that's my memory of how we met.
Yeah, that's how it went. Yeah, because I went to K-State and she went to UK. Mm-hmm. And so just in that course of going off to school, graduating high school, in the mall, just walking around, saw her. I knew her friend that she was coming to pick up. And so that's why we were actually in that store, because my buddy knew her. So we were just walking around, messing around. Yep, and then met her there. Second time was, Louisville, and then up at UK, just hanging out at a party. Yeah, a lot of party.
He didn't get those shoes.
Just really, like, it seemed like she was always happy, you know what I'm saying, and having a good time. So it's like, you want to be around positive energy, happy energy, you know what I'm saying? She was cute, she was beautiful, and always dressed nice, every time I saw her, and just smiling and seemed friendly. So it was like, okay, I like that. Let me get to know who this person is. Yeah, that's what it was.
I say for me it was he didn't look like any of the men I had dated or guys I had dated previously, and there was something about his energy that I just needed to be around. And so every time I got around him, I just had an instant feeling of calmness, which was not new because, like he said, I was always happy and high energy. Mm-hmm. So for somebody to make me feel calm, I was like, oh man, this is new. That was the haunted forest.
Yeah, October. October, yeah. Went to the haunted forest with her and was it two of her friends, and so it was Halloween. The same week. Back home. Okay, yeah, let's hang out. Let's go to this haunted forest. Got all the way out there, and we sat in the car for 30 minutes because they were spooked to even go up to the haunted forest to where it started at. They saw, I think it was a character. One of them characters was walking through, scaring people. You know how they do. And her and her friends wouldn't even get out the car. So I'm like, we done drove all the way 30 minutes. I ain't had no, I was broke. Probably barely had gas in the gas tank from a car I done borrowed from my dad or something. And got our way out there, and they was like, nah, we not doing it. So that was a wasted trip. But we had a good time laughing, though. Just about it, just hanging out. That's it. So that was the official.
That was official first.
With her friends. Yeah.
And I think K-State homecoming.
No, even before that, it was.
I'm trying to,
I mean, I think we went to Mel Manual game.
Yep, we did.
But
still that was the same month.
Yeah, still in that mode. I mean, we just did a lot. This is a lot of kicking it, hanging out. Just. FaceTime, just together. We kind of like the same things. We like to laugh. It was just comfortable, it was just comfortable. Just like to have a good time. And friends really first.
Yep,
definitely. Like it was just natural, what I'm saying? Just to call, hey, what we doing today? Or, let's go here and hang out and kick it. It wasn't even really boyfriend, girlfriend type. It was just hanging out, being friends, getting to know each other.
Yeah, we
it was
got
really,
to know
really
each other
natural.
for like a month before we officially
started
dating. And so I do remember, like, we talked a lot on the phone. I remember getting in trouble because cell phones was pretty new, and I ran up a $2,000 cell phone bill, calling him because I was at UK, he was at Kentucky State. So I remember my mom calling me like, all right, phone's done because this bill's too high. And I'm like, oh, man. And so then we started talking on Black Planet because Black Planet was new. And so we would go to the computer labs and talk on Black Planet for hours.
And you'd be waiting to get that message back.
I think I had an inkling that it was going to be different because everything about the way we started, the connection we had was totally different from anybody I had been around. Anybody I'd seen my friends around. I mean, you gotta remember we were 18, and it felt so natural and comfortable that I was like, something's different about this.
Yeah, I think I did. Like she said, it was so natural. It was almost like I knew that we would always be connected some kind of way as friends or something, just communicating, because it was not like I didn't want anything bad to happen to, and that was almost instant, like, okay, I like this person, and I I don't foresee anything bad happening, and I would be kind of hurt if we stopped talking because we were so cool. And so it was like there's never a reason I could ever think of for us not to be interacting with each other. So that's from the beginning it was almost just like a cool friendship, you know. And being that young, it was different, you know. It was very, very different. So yeah, it might have, the feelings might have been there. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I probably
He did.
Yeah.
I think I was scared too.
Yeah, I probably did.
I can say that I was scared too, and he was just same way he always is, just calm, natural, like yeah. And I'm like, what? Wait, huh? What'd you say? And then he said it again, and I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, wait, do you love me too? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. I was like, but I just was, I didn't want to say it. And so, because it came not too soon, but like sooner than at least we had been taught that you're supposed to say I love you to somebody.
Right. But, and that's, for me, it's, if you love somebody, you love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just now getting to the point within the last maybe 10 years to realize that I love a lot of people. Of course, my wife is very, very special. And so I love her differently. But you got friends that you grew up with. Like, I love my friends. You know what I'm saying? I love them. Never told them until maybe, a few years ago or whatever. And starting to see guys get more comfortable saying that. But with her, the relationship that we had early on in the beginning, I recognized that I love this person. And like I said, it wasn't too soon, but it was maybe sooner than we were taught to say you love somebody.
Oh man, I have so many. But one that sticks out was soon after we were dating, I had this fascination with prisons. And so I wanted to ride around and look for different prisons. And so I found out that there was a prison in Lexington. And I was like, I want to find it. And so my best memory was him driving my car. And I used to call my car the Lex, but it was a 1990 Geo Metro with 2 different color red doors. And like the driver door didn't open from the outside. It was a mess. But I remember us getting Waffle House and driving around Lexington trying to find this prison. And he wasn't into it, but he was like, all right, I'll go with you. I don't care. And so that's one of my favorite memories of us before marriage. I kind of agree and disagree. I think the first few years of marriage for us were not really difficult. Like, we were rocking and rolling. Like, I mean, we got married in November. We bought a brand new car together in December, like right after we got married. And then we turned around and bought a house together like that following March. So within 6 months of our marriage, we had bought a car, bought a house, pregnant with our second child. And so in those years, it was just, let's get this foundation going. I don't remember us having struggles in the relationship until about year 7. And matter of fact, it was year 7. And it was like, we both were in a space of like, okay, now what? We've got house, we've got cars, we've got 2 kids. But Jerry wasn't, our baby girl wasn't here yet. So, but we were just trying to figure out like, okay, now what? We've done all these things.
Yeah, what's the next move?
Are we going to do this together still? Are we not? But I think there was only, at least for me, there was literally one day where I had a thought about not being married to him. And so the rest of it was just like, we're going to figure this out. It's rough right now, but we'll figure it out because that's just what we do. And so that's what I would say. So, yeah, year 7. Maybe not the first 5.
Right, yeah, like year 7, not the first 5. But in the beginning, we, like she said, we was rocking and rolling. We was going hard, just try, like I said, trying to build a foundation, and working and raising the kids, and just trying to figure out what we wanted to do in life in general. And it's really like there were really no examples except older couples. I mean, we talking about my parents' age, which is in their early 70s now, but back then Because since 2000, 2005, wow, that's 14 years. So, but there were I don't remember seeing anyone.
Yeah. I don't remember having
A couple, any
near
examples
our
of,
age.
of people our age. It was always older couples looking at us like, y'all stick it out, y'all stick together, y'all look good together. I could tell how y'all interact because we, made sure we was going to church and trying to, like I said, trying to build that stability and foundation for the kids and show them, this is what our plan is, for us. This is what a healthy couple, relationship looks like. Which is what I wanted to show the kids. The first 5 years were good, a little rough patch because, like I said, you have to continuously transition and move forward. You can't stay still, and you have to continue to push each other too. And I think when we stopped communicating, stopped pushing each other, it almost got routine, too routine. Yes, it's great to have a routine because it keeps it going, but it almost got too routine. You get caught up and then you just get tired. And it's like, wait a minute, something ain't right. We ain't on the same wavelength. We need to get it back. Either we're gonna separate or we're gonna work it out. So, but if you communicate, it smooths it out. You just got to make sure you understand and recognize when you're going down the wrong path and not let it go down too long. And bring it back quick, get back on track real quick.
With our oldest, we were young when we had him. And so it was a lot of trial and error with him. I feel like I did a lot of things wrong with parenting him because I was so young. He may beg to differ, but I feel like, I did some things that I wouldn't have done. But then I guess lucky for us, unlucky for us, I went to school for psychology and then I went to school for mental health. And so in those courses, you start learning about what parenting styles are more effective and things like that. And so I remember coming home or after I was reading something and being like, oh, we got to do this totally different. And I remember him saying, no, we can do it the way we been. And I think I threw a tantrum. I'll be honest. So that we would change our parenting style. Because I was pretty all consequences, all hard discipline and with our first. Because that's what I thought what I was supposed to do. That's what I saw people in my family doing. But then when I started reading the psychological impacts and the fact that it wasn't changing his behavior, I was like, no, we can't keep doing this. And so that was my take on it. I don't know what would you say?
I don't think that I think you're putting more on it than it really was. I think we both communicated. Grew up in a 2-parent household, but she grew up with family too. A very, very strong family, and that's one thing that attracted me to her as well. That her genes were strong. She had a lot of family in Louisville, and even her father's family, which was down in Springfield, which was close to where my dad grew up. And my dad knew a lot of her uncles and aunts and cousins and things like that. So that right there, just talking to them and hearing how her family was, how her father was, how he was raised, me growing up with my parents and my family, which was very, very strong. I think that we made it work to what we knew how to do. It wasn't too crazy to me. And I think that we tried to I think we spoil our kids, you know what I'm saying? Probably a lot more than they should be. But we're in a generation now where we starting to have things a lot more than our parents had. Our parents had, but they were kind of frugal. They didn't want to go overboard and spoil us, Bible toting,
Definitely.
Yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child type discipline. It was tough, but it was necessary, I feel like. And we wasn't too tough on our first.
I just feel like it was.
Yeah, we wasn't too tough on our first or any of our kids. But yes, there were some things that she came back like, nah, we can't take away this from the kid because that's not really affecting their behavior. You know what I'm saying? And one example that she always has reminded me of is like, I like nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? My parents has always said, hey, if you're going to get some clothes, get some Levi's or some jeans or something that you know is going to last. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to go nowhere and just pick up some ranky-dink stuff. We're going to get something decent so the kids can have them so they'll last for a long time. And so our son, we used to buy him jogging, like Nike jogging pants and or some Levi's jeans and things like that. And he might have came home with a bad grade. And it was like, you know, well, we had planned to go to the outlet this spring break. And it was like, well, you had this bad grade. We're not going to go to the outlet and buy you no clothes. And she was like, nah, that you can't take the clothes away from the kid. That's what they wear. You have to learn how to change the behavior and figure out what's going on, why the grades are low. You know, do we need to do more studying? But just because you're not going to buy this Nike jogging suit, that's not going to change and bring the grades up because you don't have the jogging suit on. So that one's one thing that kind of I saw that we needed to change. You know, you can't just take stuff away from a kid. You got to really figure out what's going on with them. And so that parenting style, just communicating, and a lot of that was trial and error, but that's just the way it is. You know, you try to do your best. You want to raise kids who are productive in society and be able to take care of themselves and not need anything from anybody else. Hard workers, and I think we did that. Yeah.
We make time every night.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, like they have a bedtime.
Yep.
And we make time between the time they go to bed and midnight, whatever time we
Yeah,
decide,
what time we go to sleep.
that we literally just sit there and talk. And we talk about all kind of things. Like we still talk like we 18-year-old just best friends, like still to this day. Like sometimes I can't wait to talk to him so I could be like, did you know? And then we'll go into a whole 2 hour, 3 hour. So that's what we still do to this day.
Yeah, you got to still those moments, you know, and you know, we'll go out every now and then. A lot of times we're busy running, going separate ways, but just that phone call when she's driving to an appointment and I'm on my lunch break or something like that. Those are the connectors right there for me. You know, I couldn't go a whole day without even hearing her voice. I think she had meetings. And I went to a team lunch, this was a couple of days ago, and so I hadn't talked to her since I left out the house and went to work. And so right 5 o'clock, that phone was going off, and I was like, dang, I was still at work. I said, I'm gonna call you right back when I get to the car. So, you know, 30 minutes later. But yeah, we communicate, you know, we straight up and down communicate, and it's not, it's not a secret, you know. Like I said, spending time at night, we find those times, those small moments. I'll stop at the gas station and bring her a brownie or something, you know, and she's like, you was thinking about me. Yeah, you know, you have to just find those little pockets of moments where you can just kick it and lay back with each other, get to figure out what happened, how you feeling today and this and that. So even in the morning when she's asleep, I'm getting ready for work, I turn the light on. I know she hate the light. You know, she'll say, turn the light on. Okay, that's all I wanted to hear. You know, just want to make sure you knew. You know, so that's why I turned it on so you could say something.
We decided very early in our marriage that this was it, unless something just absolute positively just was unshakable. And then we decided how we wanted things to look. I'm a dreamer. And so I dream, and when these dreams happen, like I'm like, okay, is this something that we can make happen or not? And so if he says, yeah, we can do it, then that's what we do. And so where we are today, I think I dreamed about this, 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So like 10 years ago, I dreamed about where we are right now. And so I told him like, hey, in a couple of years, I see us in a different house, because we bought our first house. And the plan initially was to move right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up finding out we were pregnant with our second child the day we closed on the house. So then we're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do something. And then we stayed a little longer than we had planned on. But I said, I see us in another house,
It
and I
works
see
out,
us
though.
doing X, Y, and Z. And so in terms of what we're still trying to build, it's important for both of us to leave a legacy for our kids, grandkids, and their grandkids. So that's what we're working on building now, is leaving them more than just a life policy or a piece of land. Like, we want to build and leave them a lot, whatever we can. Definitely communication is number one. So if you have open communication with each other, like I said a few minutes ago, even if it's painful. So there are times that I have to say things to him that I know is about to cause a ripple and a ruffle, and vice versa. Like, he has to get me in, not in check, that's going to sound weird, but he has to get me together or whatever. So if you have open communication and you still know that even after you've said something super harsh, that you're going to be able to come back together, that's success. Being able to make decisions together, to me, is successful. Writing your own path, like doing what you want to do because it's what the two of you all want to do, not because that's what you see other couples doing. We're huge on that with social media. Like, we don't post a lot of each other on social media, and so if we were basing our marriage on social media standards, nobody would even know we were married, in a sense.
Right.
But that's something that we decided was important to us, was that our marriage is on and off social media. So whether we post a picture of each other or not, like, we still, like, that's us.
Yeah.
Because that's what's important to the two of us.
Right.
So that's how
It's your relationship is not for anybody else, really. And it's just keep it in between y'all. And I think we got that advice when we were, just first starting out married. I think somebody had said, just keep your business between you all. And keep it in the household and communicate. Don't run and be on the phone telling your friends that, oh, girl, this is going on, and me, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Don't be going to the homies, because they'll tell you something.
Yeah, they'll tell you leave.
Yeah, they'll tell you, dude. They'll set you up. You know what I'm saying? They'll throw you an alley-oop, and tell you go get it. That's one thing that I would give advice to on young couples coming up. Take some time to get to know each other, and it might take a year, it might take 2-3 years, but like, y'all make y'all plan together, and y'all and your friends and things like that, they'll be there. If they true, if they your real friends, if they your real fam, the ones you came up with, they'll be there, and they'll understand that, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. I see you building, you building your life together with your wife. But like I said, when everybody's gone, you with your spouse, and that's, like I said, I would rather be with her than to be with the dude. It just is what it is. I don't want to go hang with my homies on. Sit on Christmas Eve. What I'm gonna do with the homies on Christmas Eve? Like, I'd rather be with my family. I'd rather be with my wife and my loved one. Like, that's where I would rather be. On those special occasions, those special holidays that you can, look back and have so many memories on different days. Us kicking it and just ride, whatever, riding and laughing and talking, and I'll remember this song. They play a song on the radio. That's different. It's different, man. Yeah. So that's the advice that I would give. Just take some time to build and grow together. Make sure you checking in with each other. There's so many though to grow. Yeah, push each other. Push each other and be selfless. If your spouse wants something they got to do, encourage them to do that, and do everything that you can to help them get to where they want to be. And then vice versa, expect them to do the same for you. And you might not be able to do it together, at the same time, but you can push one and then pull them up, and then somebody else go to the next level and pull the other one up. And I think that's how you have to do it. And that's the advice that I would give. And stand on those promises that was promised to us. The fact that people, when we were young, when we were in school, the teachers used to tell you, y'all can be anything you want to be. They told us that. I believed it. And so I'm still believing it. Yeah. And so whatever I want to do, we talk and can we do this? Yeah, let's do it. They said we could. So, okay, let's try it. You know what I'm saying? Let's try it. And I read a book not too long ago, and it just said, you fail when you don't try. You'll fail at anything if you never try it. That's the failure, not trying. So you'll always succeed if you try. At least you'll learn something from it, or you might even hit your goal, or you might be halfway there and you do something else and you'll reach whatever you want to reach. Yeah, there's nothing's impossible.
He's the head.
It's not.
That was the
it's
hard,
not a.
That was one of the hardest things I had to learn how to do.
What was that?
To be what they call submissive to him. And the reason was, it wasn't because it was him. The reason was when we had our first child, we made the decision, his college was paid for. So we both said, like, at the same time, it's stupid for you to drop out of college and come back to Louisville. So I'm going to go home with the baby and I'm going to work, and you finish school, and then I'm going to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that we decided.
Yeah, in the beginning.
In the very beginning.
Yeah.
So by the time he came home from school, I'd been running the household for 4, almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he came home and, everybody's like, okay, if you're going to get married to him, you got to let him lead. And I'm like, let him lead? Man, I've been taking care of the baby. I've been paying all the bills. I've been making sure he's straight.
Mm-hmm.
Let him lead what? Like, no, he can lead himself right next to me or behind me, because we got this. And so that was something that I had to go work through. It wasn't anything that he made a comment about.
Right.
It was just something that
I was oblivious to it.
Like, I really had to go learn to say, okay, I trust him. I trust him with my life. I trust him with our son. I can trust him to do this.
Nah.
Like, what?
Yeah, nah, because I cook all the food, so, like, she don't even cook.
Okay.
So I do that. If the dishes need to be washed, somebody will wash them. Yeah, I'll do it, or she'll do it. You know what I'm saying? She taking the trash out. When I forget sometimes to take it to the curb, she'll call and say, you forgot to take the trash out. I was like, Dad. And then the next sentence was like, well, I took it out for you. Oh, okay, cool. Good, thank you.
I say, I'm in this road.
Right, I'm in the
Hurry up and
road.
get in that house.
Saying whatever. So, clothes. I need you to put a load of them clothes on. Yeah. I didn't get to it. Okay, cool. I need you to fold them clothes. Okay, cool. I turn the music on in the room and I be folding the clothes. Like, you just make it happen.
Needs to get something done.
Yeah, you just make it happen, man. It ain't no,
I think,
you need to do this because you the woman, or, with the suffrage thing.
The first thing that comes to mind to me is just the connectedness that we still have after all these years. Even when I am tired, exhausted, annoyed, whatever, like, I still only want to do this with him. Like, I don't want my friends, if I'm having a moment, like, he's the first person I call, the first person I go to. Like, so for me, Love and Soul is just still having this connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. When everybody else is gone, you got your spouse with you. Your family's not gonna, be there, right there with you in the trenches and things like that. But yeah, she's always the one that's gonna be there. So yeah, I think that love and soul, just that connection that we have and that we've built over time. It's almost like she knows what I'm thinking, or knows what mood I'm in, just by the way I get up out the bed, or walk into a room, she'll look at my face and be like, what happened, or what's going on, or let me tell you about this or that. But yeah, just that connection that we've had and we built over time, just getting to know each other, and it's still there. Like she said, I'd rather do this with her than with anyone else. Yeah.